Hey everyone, it's Ed Gutowski, and what I wanted to do was just to create a welcome video that talks about our class and talks about some of the novels that we're going to be using for class. Hey, I'm super excited and super jazzed for our class. It's going to be lots of fun. So English 1B is a class that deals with an introduction to literature class, and what that basically means is we're going to be looking at things like we're going to be reading two novels, look at some poetry, and look at a couple of plays. And so immediately in week one, you'll notice we'll start off with, I believe there's something like 15 poems that are the foundation of class. And what I'm going to have you do is just kind of look over these poems. I want to know kind of what you think of the poem, which one do you like the best, and why do you think I chose them as the foundation of our class. So we are going to look at two novels, and one of them is a book called Light and Snow by Anita Shreve. And it is a real fantastic book, right? Shreve is an interesting author because she is a contemporary author. So she's a contemporary author. She died in, I believe, like 2018, 2019, and she's really started to become part of the canon of literature. And so there's much kind of debate of, whether or not Shreve really should be considered one of the great writers of our time, and what I posted, and you'll notice above me, is that, there are some great contemporary authors of our time, and one of them is John Updike, and we'll talk about Updike in our class. He is, one of the great contemporary writers of American fiction since the 1950s. He's really famous for his most famous novel. He's got a series called the Rabbit series, and he's a wonderful, wonderful writer. And then there's another contemporary writer, Toni Morrison. She's one of the great African-American women writers of American literature. She won the Nobel Prize for her novel Beloved. But we're going to look at Anita Shreve and really ask, does she deserve that much praise to be ranked right up there with writers such as Updike or Toni Morrison? And the book we're going to look at is called Light and Snow. And Light and Snow starts off, what Shreve likes to do is she likes to start off creating kind of a mystery. So when the novel starts off, you're in New England. She's considered a New England writer. So we're somewhere in Vermont or Delaware. And the novel starts off and it's pouring snow. And it's kind of just before the sun is setting, so it's about 5 o'clock. And out of the pouring snow comes these two figures, and we know nothing about them. They're kind of walking through the snow. They're a father and a daughter, and there's really not very much we know about them. What we know is for about the last couple of months, every day they've been making this trek. They've been making this trek, walking through the snow, and their goal is to get to this wall before the sun sets. And they're not really saying anything, and the snow is starting to get really kind of thick. It's like a scene out of a Robert Frost poem. And Anita Shreve sometimes has been compared to Robert Frost. That's why one of the poems we're going to look at is A Snowy Evening, and the other is The Road Not Taken, because Shreve has great details. And so as this father and this son, they're walking through the snow, and all we know is that for the last month, they've always been trying to get to this wall before the sun sets, and they've started out a little late. The snow is thick, and the sun is just kind of setting, and all of a sudden you hear a sound. And the father says, "Hey, did you hear that? What was that sound?" "It sounds like a coyote." "Is it a coyote?" And they stop. They don't hear anything. They keep walking. They hear this sound again. It's this crying sound. Is it a wolf? Is it a bear? And as they keep walking, all of a sudden, off in the distance, they hear a car drive away, and they walk off into the kind of a little more into the snow, and they find an abandoned baby, and someone has left this baby in the middle of nowhere in the freezing snow. And from that point, the mystery starts to unfold, and the novel gets a lot better. And I got to tell you, I've taught 4 of Anita Shreve's novels. I really, really like her novels. I think, though, Light and Snow might be my favorite because of the character development, because of the mystery. And what Shreve is asking is she asks something from the reader, right? She asks for the reader to have empathy for the struggles of others. So Light and Snow will be the first novel that we're going to look at. Now, the second book we're going to look at is a graphic novel called Maus, and it deals with the Holocaust. And what I found is, so we're kind of looking at an aspect of Holocaust literature. So you can argue two things. One, either I'm a terrible teacher because I'm teaching a comic book, or, we could talk about a graphic novel that really examines the complexity of the Holocaust. I've taught a lot of books that deal with Holocaust literature, and Maus has had a pretty profound impact on me. And then the last book you're going to notice in the far right-hand corner above me is our Backpacker's Guide to Literature. So you're going to want to get the Backpacker Guides to Literature, because that's the one that'll deal with the short stories that we'll start using in week 2. It's got some of the poems we might look in, and it has some of the plays that we're going to look at. So, that's kind of the gist of our class. I'm really excited. Introduction to Literature classes are always fun. And I'm really excited for week 1, to see what you think about the poems for class. And just to kind of sort of think about the setup for our class. So how I've set up our class is that we never meet in person. We only meet all online. And for the most part, just about everything is due at the end of the week. I give students a full week to work on class assignments, and everything is due by Saturday at midnight. And really what that allows for students to have the full flexibility to manage their time. So you have the full week to complete all the coursework and course assignments. I'll check in during the week, and then you can just email me if you have any questions or concerns. So I'm super jazzed about our class. I just want to give you some background. You get a response to the video, and I'm excited to get week 1 under the way.